Good morning, everybody. I naturally don't trust what the system feeds us, the narrative that they tell us, that when they tell us what to believe. I'm not a big fan of John Cusack or anything like that. For those of you who have seen that movie 2012 and the Arnold is, or whoever they're portraying as the Arnold saying, there's no reason to panic or anything like that. And in the movie, he's driving towards his family, trying to pick his family up before this massive earthquake begins in that movie 2012. And he says, when they tell you not to panic, that's when you run. And, I'm not saying to panic or anything like that, but I think that kind of just, shows how I feel about what their narrative is. You can't trust them as far as you can throw them. And I think they've proven that over time. And so with that being said, I notice little tiny inconsistencies because I pay attention to what they're saying with this Nipah virus. And there's been several things that have happened recently, um, and that have not been really well known or anything like that. And there's one narrative that they're telling us, and I have information here, and I'm going to go through it. And then there's kind of there's another narrative, and that people are coming out with and saying, well, it's not exactly what they're saying that it is. In 2025, in Kerala State, there was a Nipah virus reported that was centered in Malappuram district, with additional cases in neighboring Palakkad and Kozhikode, or I think it is districts. I'm botching these names because I'm not Indian. I'm sorry. I don't live in India. The index case was an adolescent girl who died from the infection. Um, they're saying that, because it was only her, that it marked 100% case fatality rate for that instance. A second case was confirmed in a 38-year-old woman from Palakkad, sorry, who survived, and authorities identified 425 contacts across three districts: 228 in Malappuram, 110 in Palakkad, and 87 in Kozhikode, many of whom were healthcare workers. Enhanced surveillance and contact tracing expanded to 499 people by mid-July, but they were saying, but no additional cases were detected. The outbreak was contained through isolation, is what they were saying. This is their narrative. And the testing, they used the RT-PCR test and ELISA, LEISA testing in public health measures with containment zones in Malappuram, and they continued in Palakkad. And then so Nipah virus has had outbreaks multiple times in the past, some worse than others. All right, but it seems that for something that's not happening and that's a low threat, is what the World Health Organization is saying. They seem to be making a big deal out of it, and we're going to get to that in a moment. All right, but it's just I find it rather strange, and so and I know that there was other information. I can't find it. I had it the other day. I even talked about it online the other day, but there was information where it was like even in October, like there was some Nipah virus stuff happening in Kerala, which is in India. So now fast forward, and again, this is the narrative that they're telling us. In 2026, Nipah cases in West Bengal, India, in January, that there were number two laboratory confirmed Nipah cases that were reported in West Bengal, both involving healthcare workers. Well, where'd the healthcare workers get it from? That's the first question I have. Okay. The cases were detected since December 2025, but we're just finding out about it in January. And we find out about it in January because they're saying with the confirmations on it in January 11th and 13th. Okay. One patient improved while the other remained in critical care as of late January. Authorities traced 196 to 200 close contacts, all of whom tested negative. Now, here's the thing about Nipah virus that you have got to understand. All right. Nipah virus, when it's asymptomatic and you have it, you can test negative. Okay. During the incubation period for Nipah virus, you can also test negative. Okay. So it can the incubation period can be further and bigger and longer than 45 days up to. They say it's around 21 days is the normal incubation period for Nipah virus, but it can go even longer than 45 days. They usually say at its longest 45 days, but there's been cases that have been known to go on for years before they became a thing. That's what's crazy. Okay. So it can go much further. It can lay dormant in the system. And that's something that why they use bats for viruses like coronavirus, COVID-19 or whatever, and this Nipah stuff. And I think a lot of this is man-made in a laboratory, function of gain of function, whatever you want to, I'll come out and say it. And they use bats because bats have an uncanny ability for viruses to lay dormant in their systems without becoming active and killing the bat. And so the bat's genetics are used in conjunction with whatever, their function of gaining. All right. I got to say it like that with that. And so it lays dormant. And so, anyways, with that being said, there is airport screenings that have been prompted all across the board. Countries like Thailand, Nepal, Malaysia, Indonesia, Pakistan, Singapore, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Vietnam, Cambodia, South Africa. Okay, there's literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different countries doing airport screenings. What does that sound like to you? But I thought it was relatively low and they have them all contained. And if they're contained, why is there airport screenings? The things that they're doing don't match up with the things that they're telling us. Now, give me a moment here. I'm trying to pull up a picture here. They say that it's two people infected in West Bengal, but this is telling us that there's 5. That as of January 23, health officials have confirmed 5 cases of the Nipah virus in West Bengal. I thought it was 2. And this is from a doctor. And so that kind of blows my mind. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, they're telling us one thing and it's really another. And you can see here, how in India triggers Asia airport screenings. And what's funny is I've seen the picture elsewhere, but that picture you see right there where it says doctor on the back of her vest, at the bottom it says quarantine. They're all wearing face masks everywhere in these countries. They're wearing face masks right now. But it's not a thing. It's not breaking out. There's nothing to worry about or anything like that. Give me a moment here. So, with that being said, all over the place, they're coming out with these news articles where they're denying rumors of Nipah virus, or there's an outright denial. Now, you have to remember that there's an Agenda 2030, and then within that, there's a depopulation agenda. So, I mean, if the government wants you dead, are they going to tell you right off the bat that they want you dead? Are they going to tell you right off the bat that, something's going down? Oh, I'm up early every day. God is supernatural. God bless you. I'm up early all the time. I'm just constantly watching, constantly doing my thing, looking around the internet and seeing what's going on. And so, I find it kind of interesting that they say that, I mean, if this pH is a fuh, I don't want to say the word because it can come off as an American swear word right here. We'll say Puckett. We'll say Puckett. But hospital in Phuket denies rumors of Nipah virus. Bangkok Siri Raj Hospital in Phuket has issued a formal statement refuting viral social media claims that 7 Indian nationals were infected with the Nipah virus and placed in quarantine at the facility. Huh. That's weird. If there was nothing to worry about, why do they got to come out and say it? It's just people talking, it's just kind of weird to me. And especially that it's not like the World Health Organization coming out and saying it. It's just, it's the Phuket Express. The rumor, which circulated widely among Phuket residents online over the past weekend, alleged that the hospital staff had warned of confirmed cases. So the staff is warning of confirmed cases, but the system's coming out and saying, "Oh, nothing to worry about," and urged the public to wear masks and disinfect vehicles. Well, I'm sorry. If there's no confirmed cases, then why are people wearing masks and disinfecting vehicles? That doesn't make sense to me. Does that make sense to you? Or am I just stupid and just, ignorant and I should believe the system and when they tell me when there's nothing to worry about? The claims quickly sparked heated debate with some netizens calling on authorities to suspend travel from India amid fears of a repeat of the COVID-19 lockdowns that devastated the island's economy. Concerns centered on the possibility of another citywide shutdown, which during the pandemic forced businesses to close and residents to endure severe financial hardship. In response, Bangkok Siri Raj Hospital clarified at present, no patients infected with the Nipah virus have been admitted to Bangkok Siraj Hospital. And we're going to get to that. And I want to say at present, there could be people that they think are sick with it, but until it's confirmed, they ain't going to tell you. They don't give a shit. Sorry, Lord, excuse me, Jesus. They don't give a crap about you. They don't care about your health. They're not going to even come out and say it because, they can be held liable for saying something before it's confirmed. All right, by the World Health Organization and things like that. You can be defunded for coming out and saying it. The World Health Organization and whatnot, and the CDC, they have to have the say. They're the ones that are controlling the narrative. Says the hospital continues to conduct strict screening and surveillance in line with medical standards to ensure the safety of all patients and staff. So why do you have to do strict screening and surveillance if there's nothing to worry about and it's all contained? Why? The hospital statement wants to reassure the public and counter and misinformation at a time when Pucket's tourism sector is still recovering from the impact of COVID-19. So they don't want Puckett to struggle or anything like that. And they want tourists to still come there. It's like, even if there was an outbreak happening, they don't care. They want more tourists to come because they're struggling financially, is what that kind of sounds like to me. Just putting that out there real quick. Now, with that being said, there's a new Nipah virus infection in Bangladesh, and this is from the World Health Organization. On the 3rd of February, the International Health Regulations National Focal Point, and they said that this was contained, okay, and this Bangladesh neighbors India, okay, so people know, notified the World Health Organization of one confirmed case of Nipah virus infection in Rajshahi division. The patient developed fever and neurological symptoms on the 21st of January. Well, so I thought they said that they had things contained, 10 days before that. That there was only 2 people, but then it was 5. And then 10 days, or so later, now there's someone that's dead, but they didn't bother to tell you about it until just recently. All right, which is the 6th of February. They don't care to tell you about it until the 6th of February, yesterday. Nipah virus infection was laboratory confirmed on the 29th of January, but it still took them a week to tell you. You see how it's all being underreported? And that's shady, man. They are shady. And I don't believe a damn thing that they're saying. I don't. And I'm not saying freak out and that it's another pandemic. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that, like, with the incubation period and being asymptomatic and testing negative, being asymptomatic, and during the incubation period. And I mean, you can go and you can Google it. They'll tell you, oh, it's very rare. It's very rare that you test negative during the incubation period. No, it's not. It's not rare. It happens all the time. I researched it. And you can trust me. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to try to scare you unnecessarily. I want to prepare people. I want to tell people the truth. That's what this channel is all about. It's not believing everything that they tell us, digging in and finding the truth like we're doing right now. All right, so Nipah virus infection was laboratory confirmed on the 29th of January. The patient reported no travel history, but had a history of consuming raw date palm sap. And that's the thing that they keep saying, raw date palm sap, raw date palm sap. And it has to do with the fruit bats, of course, and things like that. But if the raw date palm sap is the problem, you'd think people would stop consuming it. If they're like, oh, and I know in India, they put it out there that raw date palm sap is a problem right now. And then all 35 contact persons are being monitored and have tested negative. Well, if they have it in the incubation period, of course they can test negative for Nipah virus. So I'm just putting that out there. All right, I'm just putting that out there. And then come to find out, obviously, the person died. One person dead from Nipah virus in Bangladesh, WHO says. And then they tell you, oh, there's nothing to worry about. These cases are reported almost every year. Follows 2 Nipah virus cases identified in neighboring India, but now it's 5 cases. And the doctors in the area are telling us it's 5 cases, but they want you to believe it's only 2 and that there's been no spread. I don't know. I just don't believe it. It doesn't mean there's a pandemic. I just don't believe them. You see what I'm saying? I just don't believe them. And there's like a World Cup that's supposed to be in India, and they're talking about not doing it because of all this. Now, hold on one second here. Now they've even Thailand, and it's funny, it's in English. It's not in Thai, it's in English. All right. It's like, why is that? Why? I mean, I guess all those people over there, they speak English too. It's like a second language. I know a lot of people that are bilingual that speak English, but they've even come out, with this news thing from the National News Bureau of Thailand.
The Ministry of
And they're denying. Oh, there's nothing to worry about. We're confirming that there's no cases in Thailand, but why are you screening in airports? Why are you screening in the airports if there's nothing to worry about, and the spreadability of this thing is low and there's nothing to worry about? Remember, and I'm just putting this out there. Remember when they told you that when the super flu wasn't a thing, and then I remember in the first ones that where I was reporting on it, they said it was low, and I mean, and God bless sister Linda, and I pray that Jesus is with her and that he heals her and what she's got going on in the hospital. But they want to get her. I was told that they want to get her out of the hospital because there's so many flu patients right now, and that the flu is still exploding here in America. But they told you at first it was relatively low. It's always not a problem until it's a problem. You see what I'm saying? It's always not a problem until it's a problem. So, but I just find it kind of shady. So, with that being said, though, we'll listen to this.
Ministry of Public Health and the Department of National Parks, Wildlife and Plant Conservation, or DNP, have officially confirmed that no cases of the Nipah virus have been detected in Thailand. Despite the zero-case
I want to say this too, that if there's an incubation period of up to 45 days or even 21 days, of course you haven't detected it. So why are you making this video even? You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if people see. I think sometimes I must be an idiot because of the way that I think sometimes, because I think crazy things. Like, I put these little things together and they're just, their logic doesn't match up to me. I must be crazy. I absolutely must be crazy.
Status, strict screening measures are in place for travelers from West Bengal, India at Don.
So if it's not a thing, then why are you have strict screening of travelers?
เมือง Suvarnabhumi and Phuket airports. Deputy Permanent Secretary for Public Health, Dr. Sopon Iyamsrithawan, stated that all incoming passengers from this specific region must complete the T8 Health Declaration form. Laboratory capacity has also been upgraded to ensure that any potential cases are identified rapidly. Wildlife authorities highlighted that Thailand has been proactively monitoring the Nipah virus in fruit bats for over 20 years. Director of the Wildlife Conservation Office, Sukhi Bunsang, noted that since 2002, studies have consistently found only low-level infections in local Makai fruit bats, with absolutely no evidence of transmissions to humans. Department of Disease Control spokesperson, Dr. Jurai Wongsawat, added that the virus prevalence in Thai bats is only about 10%, significantly lower than the 40% to 50% rates found in Indian bat populations, making the local risk relatively minimal. To reassure the public, the DNP is conducting detailed inspections in Ayutthaya and Chonburi, where residents have raised concerns about local bat colonies. Officials reminded visitors that cave tourism safety protocols, such as wearing masks and gloves, remain essential to avoid contact with bat droppings. Moreover, authorities emphasize that bats are protected wildlife under the Wildlife Preservation and Protection Act. Harming them is a legal offense. Travelers from risk areas showing symptoms like...
I think you kind of get the idea, though. I think you get the idea. They're just kind of talking about the bats now. But, and I'm not saying super flu still isn't a thing either. I haven't talked about super flu in a long time. There's just been so much going on, But I get emails all the time. I'm really sick, Joshua. Please pray for me. And I pray for people, and take the time to stop and pray for them. The subscribers and viewers who watch my channel, they really matter to me. I see you as more like brothers and sisters, than just subscribers and viewers. So I want to take the time and pray for people. But I've noticed I'm getting more of those, emails and comments of people saying that they're sick. And, even, Jenny is, saying that, a lot of patients are ending up on ventilators. And so it's like something's going on. And it just reminds me of, things that I've talked about in the past, like, say, the SPARS pandemic scenario, 2025 to 2028, and how in the fall of 2025 leading into 2026, there'd be this kind of crap breaking out. And I'm not saying it's for sure taking root, but there wasn't a lockdown until March. And we're still almost, 2 months, actually we're at this point about a month away from where we were when they locked us down the first time, in 2020. And when I think about that, all right, I think about this bat quarter that was released. It's always bats, right? Bats cause coronavirus, right? But, you have this as above, so below symbology here, where you have the microcosm and the macrocosm. And the top one is as above. As above comes first. As above, so below. But as above, if as above would be the COVID-19 virus, that came first, because as above comes first and then the below comes second, then the small bat representing coronavirus would be the microcosm, like the yin and the yang. You have those complete opposites, as above, so below. Then the larger bat would be the macrocosm and what would be coming. What would be coming. And I'm not saying that Nipah virus is going to be a pandemic. I'm not saying the super flu is going to be a pandemic. I'm just saying they're planning a pandemic, and that's a fact. And I find it really interesting that they released this quarter during the first pandemic. The Illuminati has always used the money to send out symbolism of the things that they do and that they're going to do. They use the Illuminati card game. They use money. They use music videos. They use movies. They use TV shows. They use the news articles. They use the images that they put out in periodicals, all this different stuff to send out subliminal messages to the other Illuminati members across the board and sending them signals as to how things are going to happen. And I just find it funny. You see two bats, not just one. And I don't care what people think about me when I say this, and I'm not saying I'm a prophet at all, okay? But I am saying it because I'm not. I'm nothing near that. But I know a dream that was prophetic 7 years before the first pandemic. The Lord showed me it would have Chinese origins. And then the Lord showed me in that dream, he kind of felt like the Lord was hinting to that there would be two pandemics. And I had another dream of another lockdown, and then I had another dream about like a hemorrhagic fever, and these were all very far apart. And when I had the dream about the second lockdown, um it's been close to like 5 or 6 or 7 years, something like that, since I've had that dream. And so I don't know. I stick. I'm never going to back off the idea that there's going to be a lockdown and another pandemic, because I know that's their plan, and I know what I felt that the Lord had showed me in my dreams. Plenty of us have dreams, and plenty of us have seen symbolism and things happen in our dreams that came to pass. It's not an uncommon thing. It's not an uncommon theme. It's happened to a lot of different people. All right. And so does it mean you're a prophet? Absolutely not. Does it mean you're a prophetess? Absolutely not. What it does mean is God sharing information ahead of time with his people. You know what I mean? And trying to forewarn people. And so I'm not going to back off the idea that that's coming, but I find it strange that, you know, this quarter they released that. And so, with that being said or whatever, give me a moment here. Um, so the health department urges calm amid Nipah virus concerns in South Africa. The National Health Department has urged South Africans to remain calm amid concerns over a possible Nipah virus outbreak. Well, if it's nothing to worry about, then why is everybody freaking out about it? And why are people elsewhere in the world not being told about it? All right. So I mean, it's just shady, just super shady. I don't believe everything that they're saying. I think it's a lot further spread than what they're saying. And I think, that it's with that incubation period being what it is, I just don't trust it. And you know what, Rusty Craig, that's a good point. That's a crazy picture too. Another lockdown will be attempted. It worked too well before. It did. It did. Absolutely, it did. And we have Agenda 2030 just around the corner. And they say by the year 2030, all these 15-minute cities and digital IDs and lockdown cities and things like that are going to all be in place by then. Well, it's going to take an event to make that happen. And I think I kind of start to think that they're going to do another pandemic or martial law of some kind. They're going to create such violence in the streets or a pandemic. It's one or the other. I don't think that it's going to be anything else. I think it's going to be one or the other. That's my opinion. I really do. Hold on one second. I'm trying to go through here and make sure I got everything covered. Yeah, I think I have everything covered. And like, again, they were telling us that, that there was no new cases or anything like that. But for over 10 days, actually, I think it was 15, 16, something like 16 or 17 days, there was another case in Bangladesh, and they didn't bother telling us for a half a month that it was that. So how many more have happened and they're not telling us what's going on? How many more are in an incubation period of over a month? And people are sick and they can suspect it, but they won't tell us because it's not confirmed. And plus, obviously, all across the board, they're saying, don't worry, shush, go back to sleep. Super strange to me. And then on top of that, yeah, absolutely, John Paul. World Cup should spread it. World travel, absolutely. And they were talking about the World Cup being in India. And not I think that's what it is. Let me double check here. I'm going to Google it because I want to be accurate in what I'm saying here. Yeah, February 7th, so today, to March 8th. Hosted by India and Sri Lanka from February 7th to March 8th. The tournament features 55 matches across 8 venues, with 5 in India. So that should definitely spread it. I'll share it with you so you can see. Hold on. Right there. It's for cricket. It's the Cricket World Cup. So all these people, going to the Cricket World Cup, and they can take this crap back. So keep it quiet until the World Cup, because they want the tourism and the money, right? And then everybody gets it, takes it back to their country, and they have the perfect spread. Just like John Paul was saying, World Cup should spread it. World travel, right there. I mean, that's makes sense, right? Because they want their money. Of course, India would keep it under wraps. These countries would keep it under wraps, but the rest of the countries around India are freaking out, and they have screening at the airports and stuff. It doesn't make sense to me. And that movie Contagion is about the Nipah virus. I don't know if you guys have seen that recently, but it doesn't end well. It definitely doesn't end well in the movie. Containment or Contagion. Sorry, I'll show you the trailer for it actually real quick. Contagion trailer. We'll watch the trailer real quick. Hold on one second. So that way, if you guys haven't seen it.
It was a groundbreaking ceremony for a new factory.
Did she mention seeing anyone who was sick? Anyone on a plane, the airport?
I want to say this real quick too. If you look up Contagion 2011, what virus is it? It's Nipah virus.
No, she said she was jet lagged.
The average person touches their face 3 to 5 times every waking minute. In between, we're touching doorknobs, water fountains, and each other.
Matt. Mom? No, go up to your room, honey.
So we have a virus, no treatment protocol, and no vaccine at this time.
You had a seizure this morning, Beth.
Do you have a history of seizures?
No.
Allergies?
As of last night, there are 32 cases.
Unfortunately, she did die.
Right. I said, can I go talk to her?
Mr. Armoff, your wife is dead.
What are you talking about?
Okay.
What happened to her? What happened to her?
Is there any way someone could weaponize the bird flu? Is that what we're looking at?
Someone doesn't have to weaponize the bird flu. The birds are doing that.
Watch this. It's transmission, so we just need to know which direction.
I want to make this clear. He says bird flu in there, but if you go and you look it up on Google, it's the Nipah virus that is responsible for the contagion in this movie. That's, they tell you what they're going to do to you. And so, I'm just putting it out there. Now, I do want to say this before I go on. Actually, I'll look it up. I'll let this play, and then I'll look it up while I'm letting this finish up. Hold on.
On day one, there were 2 people, and then 4, and then 16. In 3 months, it's 1 billion. That's where we're headed.
They're calling out the National Guard. They're moving the president underground. People will panic.
Get away!
It will tip over.
The truth is being kept from the world.
Cook your samples, destroy everything.
Hello. I need you to get me the names of everyone who serviced this room. It's an emergency.
You can't panic now.
I know.
I'm going to get you home. I got people too, Dr. Cheever. We all do.
Don't talk to anyone. Don't touch anyone. Stay away from other people.
Get back in your car.
We're not sick!
It's figuring us out faster than we're figuring it out.
It's mutated.
So, I mean, yeah, okay. So, I'm looking this up, and I can't find the actual post here. Give me a moment here. There was a guy, and I think, Laura, you were here. Can you confirm, you remember when I showed that guy that predicted in 2016 that the coronavirus was coming, and then he predicted that Nipah virus was coming? Laura Hyatt, can you confirm that, sister? Porch Talk with John Paul, weren't you here as well for that? And I'll post your comment, if, yeah, right here. She says, yes, Laura Hyatt was here. Was there anybody else watching today that was there that day that I showed this guy in 2016? He predicted coronavirus was coming. And then he also said, and he disappeared. He literally disappeared. Like, it was almost like it was a fake account. And they put it out there, told you what they were going to do. And then, you know what I mean? And it was weird. But then he went on to say that Nipah virus was coming. He went on to say that Nipah virus was coming. I don't know if John Paul's watching. I don't know, because sometimes he pops in and out. But I don't know if anybody else is here that saw that day. Put it in the live chat. I'm going to continue to look for just a moment. Hold on right here. I'm hoping to find it here. I'd really like to find this. All right, let me do it this way here. Hold on, just be patient with me, guys. You want to see this? I can find it. All right, hold on. Let me do another search real quick. While that's doing that, hold on. This is ridiculous. It's hard to find crap nowadays. Hold on. Goodness gracious. Just be patient with me, everybody. We'll get there. Hold on 1 second. All right, hold on here. I'm almost there. Talk amongst yourselves. Goodness gracious. Yeah, I'm not finding it. Whatever. But Marco Cortez is the guy. Okay, found it. Hold on. I found it. Right here. Here's the post right here. Marco Cortez. Nipah virus, it's coming. And this is the same guy that predicted the coronavirus. He says coronavirus, it's coming. And then this one, he says Nipah virus, it's coming. So just putting that out there for people to see. I told you I'm good at finding stuff, and sometimes it takes a moment, but I get there. I get there eventually. So they're planning crap, and obviously there's things that their words aren't lining up. Their words are not lining up. So no, Alberto Torres. It was Marco Alcortez or Alcorez. I think is his name. Hold on, give me a moment here. It is Marco Cortez. It's this guy right here. I'll share the screen. It's this guy right here that predicted, and I mean he doesn't. I mean he doesn't do much. The last time he posted was in December 10th, 2016. Like he disappeared. You know what I mean? And he's got 33,000 followers, and he hasn't been on since 2016. It's pretty wild. So yeah, it's this guy right here. But he said coronavirus, it's coming, is his post, and then now it's this Nipah virus, it's coming. So I'm not saying it's going to be a thing. I'm not saying that there's going to be a pandemic because of Nipah virus. Heck, there's probably not going to be. All right. But the super flu as well is like, you know, they said it wasn't going to be a thing, and I mean, I guess the hospitals are jam packed. And I'll do a super flu update here soon. I have to get ready. I'm going to be meeting with Kathy O'Brien today to discuss the new documentary, and we're going to be going over some information. Um, we're getting really close to having what we need for everything. We're still in need of some funds, though. If you feel led, if the Lord leads you, um, we sure could use the financial help. We definitely can use the prayers for protection and whatnot as we do this new one. I was sharing what I've been discovering with one of my close friends, Christina, and she was pretty blown away by what um, I've found so far, and I'm just touching the tip of the iceberg with this one. I think there's gonna be a lot of crazy stuff that comes from this next investigation, and I actually have 2 investigations planned. Uh, so yeah, and one is completely taken care of, but just the other one is almost. We're about halfway there with the other one, so just throwing that out there. It could definitely use some help. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I appreciate you guys listening to me gripe and complain about the Nipah virus. Like I said, I don't think it's going to be a thing, but I don't trust what they're saying. I absolutely don't trust what they're saying. Their words aren't matching up to what, facts are coming out. They're saying 2, then 5, and then they're saying no, there's no new spread, and then it spread and someone died, and then there's more contacts that they're tracing, and then the World Cup is moving into the area, for cricket. And so, it takes, a month for the incubation period or longer, a month and a half, and they're up to a month and a half, they're saying, or even longer than that. And so I don't know what's going to happen, but it seems that something's brewing. We know that Agenda 2030 is a thing, and that they're trying really hard to move us in that direction, whether it be the violence on the streets and martial law or an insurrection act or whatever, or this pandemic thing that's brewing. It seems that something big is brewing. And so and like someone said earlier in the live chat, they saw how well the first pandemic worked and lockdown worked, and they want that power back again to be able to control things. And I think the next time we go into a pandemic lockdown, or even martial law lockdown, or a climate change lockdown, or whatever it is, I don't think they're going to let up on it. I'm just being honest with you. I want you to brace for that. If the Lord tarries, I don't think he's going to tarry too much longer, but if the Lord tarries at all, I don't think that we're going to get out of this next one that's coming. I think it's going to become very difficult. So, have your escape plan ready. Be praying, focus on Jesus, man, and be in tune with him, because he'll lead you down whatever road that you need to go down as the road begins to fork and split, and there's different options as to what to do. That's what I'm counting on, that God's just going to lead me in the right direction. That's what I need. That's what I'm counting on. I'm leaning on Jesus for all of it, because I don't know. I'm not going to talk in absolutes. I just know that there's some shady crap going on. Stay close to Jesus. May God bless you all. May he keep you. And please don't forget to go out and change this world in which you live.